Now, governments across the world began investigating possible financial wrongdoings by the rich and powerful following a leak of documents from a Panamanian law firm. Now, the documents allegedly show how clients avoided tax or laundered money. The documents detailed schemes involving an array of figures from friends of Russian President Vladimir Putin to relatives of the Prime Ministers of Britain, Iceland and Pakistan, and as well as the President of Ukraine, Australia, Austria, Brazil, France and Sweden. These were among countries which said they had begun investigating the allegations. Now, the documents were leaked to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and more than 100 other news organizations.
Well, we need to investigate the individual cases where they've got people holding their money offshore. Some of it will be technically legal. I'm sure some of it won't be, but we need accountability.
But the fact that these revelations have emerged from Panama tends to suggest, and suggests strongly to me, that there is likely to be criminality involved. No one who's based in the UK has Panama as their natural choice for a tax haven. You have all the Channel Islands much closer, you have all the British Overseas Territories, all of which use UK law and are staffed very often by UK expats. They're much, much more natural places for us to site our assets if we're determined to avoid tax.
Now let's get more on these Panama files. We are now joined by Chetra Norbert in New York and Yasser Hakim in Cairo. Welcome to the show. And Chetra, I'd like to start with you. Now, the information out there is 143 politicians implicating 12 of them national leaders, their families, close associates, even FIFA popped up. Now, what more has been revealed so far?
Uche, potential financial wrongdoing by the rich and powerful on a global scale. It's alleged that the Panama Papers, as they're being called, reveal financial arrangements of global politicians and public figures and their friends, such as those of Russian President Vladimir Putin, the relatives of the Prime Ministers of Britain, Iceland, Pakistan, and the President of Ukraine. It's not illegal to have money in offshore companies, but journalists who receive these leaked documents say that they could provide evidence of funds hidden for tax evasion, money laundering, sanctions violations, drug deals, or other crimes. The law firm that's involved in all of this in Panama, Mossack Fonseca, says that it set up more than 240,000 offshore companies for clients around the globe, but it's denying any wrongdoing and saying that this is a violation of privacy and there's a campaign against privacy happening here.
Well, Yasser, Egypt's former president Mubarak, he has been implicated in this whole saga. What has been the country's reaction to this news so far?
Yes, there's a mixed reaction. First of all, Mubarak is on trial for corruption, and there was a committee that was handling all the assets of Mubarak, his family, and any partners, business partners to his sons. And this committee has said that it had found it very hard to determine his assets abroad. And those leaked documents have, for example, found a villa in London in which the members of this committee have visited before and couldn't prove that it's owned by Mubarak's sons. And the leaked documents, as the committee says, proves that it is owned by President's son. There's also offshore companies mainly in the stock exchange and properties worth around $140 million according to the documents. And now there's an investigation that has been opened today to verify these documents and build on it, whether to have a new case against Mubarak for corruption and embezzlement or not. So this is going to be an ongoing situation now. It will not end with the leakage of these documents here.
And of course, that's Egypt's government reaction. But Chetra, how have we seen governments internationally responding to these revelations so far?
We're seeing varied reactions and further information, investigations are necessary. So it's still early to determine what any repercussions may be. But in terms of reactions, the Kremlin said that the documents contain, quote, nothing concrete and nothing new, end of quote. while a spokesman for British Prime Minister David Cameron said his late father's reported links to an offshore company were a private matter. Iceland's Prime Minister couldn't immediately be reached for comment on the naming of his wife in connection with a company in an offshore jurisdiction, and this brought opposition calls for him to resign. Pakistan denied any wrongdoing by the family of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif after his daughter and son were linked to offshore companies. The Ukrainian president didn't comment on his reported offshore links. Australia, Austria, France, Sweden, and the Netherlands say they've begun investigating the allegations, and even banks are also under the spotlight for allegedly helping clients hide their funds offshore.
And yeah, so here in Africa, on the African continent, countries like Libya, South Africa, we've seen them all mentioned in this document. Egypt as well, of course, as you said, you spoke to us earlier about. Now, what more do we know about African countries and, of course, people implicated?
Yes, there's a whole list of it, and just to have to say that this is yet not verified. They've all ignored this or said this is not true, but we have Jacob Zuma's nephew. He has oil fields in DRC. We've got Angola's Minister of Petroleum, Jose Maria. Kofi Annan, the UN Secretary General's son, is implicated. Nigeria's ex-governor who owns oil hubs, James Ibori. The DRC, Joseph Kabila's twin sister. You've got Kenya's Kapana Rawal, Deputy President of the Supreme Court, who has 4 companies that work in UK properties. You've got Gaddafi, the former Libyan president, John Kafur's eldest son, and Dennis Crystal Sassou Nguesso's son, who's the president of Congo, so the Congolese president. So there's a whole list. They've all denied it, but we will see to what extent will this be will have any implications on them or their families. But if you talk about Egypt, it will have an implication. It will have a lot concerning the trials that are taken against the Egyptian president and his family, and also the businessmen who have gained fortunes from the Mubarak family in the last 20 years.
Quite interesting. Well, thank you so much both for joining us with that update. Chetra Nobat in New York and, of course, Yasser Hakim in Cairo. Keep abreast of that story.